Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to the Lock Shop right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. Iwanyk in for Dustin Nielson. Huss will join me in just a few minutes. Lots to get to today. Today's the first day you could bet on NFL regular season yet again. And first time since the Super Bowl. Well, that's not regular season, I guess. First time for regular season since they play on the 8th or 7th or something of January? Is that the first week of playoffs? I can't remember. But regular season's back. No one cares about preseason. So the NFL is back today. Tomorrow begins week 14 in the Canadian Football League. So that's where we're going to spend much of today's show with Huss and myself. We will look towards... we'll do the full CFL slate today with Huss. We will do Thursday Night Football with Huss. And then tomorrow when Dusty's on with Huss, they'll do their full week 1 NFL best bets for... I guess that would be for the tomorrow's game between the Chiefs and the Chargers out in Brazil, and the entire Sunday slate of action. So that's coming up over today and tomorrow right here on the Lock Shop. I want to remind everyone on the promo codes for Play Alberta, EST Sports, and YEG50, YEG50, deposit 50, get a $50 free bet for both of those. And Play Alberta have improved odds on all major North American leagues this year, including the NFL, which again gets going tonight, and much more convenient than ever with their new and improved Play Alberta app. So there you go. Get on board with Play Alberta as the NFL season gets going today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We'll see what the Eagles can do against the Cowboys as their banner goes up. Eagles right now minus 8.5. Chiefs minus 3 favorites tomorrow when we look at that one. And then throughout quite a bit of close ones, in that range of 2 to 3.5 point spreads throughout this week. If you go within 3, I'm not even going to go up to 3.5. I'm just going to say within 3 points for the spread for this weekend. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on tap for this weekend out of the 16. Right now, the spread is 3 or closer to that pick'em. So it's going to be a fun weekend to open week 1. Plus, it's always those weird surprises that you're not expecting. There's always that one game that the team comes out very slow, or the team's just going to be bad this year that you're not expecting, or team's going to be very good this year that you're not expecting. And that starts on week 1 when that gets going. In the Canadian Football League, as I said, Lions tomorrow in Ottawa take on the Redblacks. That is minus 6.5. The Ticats minus 3.5 against the Owls. The Bombers minus 1 against the Riders. And the Stampeders minus 6.5 against the Edmonton Elks. Ticats, Owls, Riders, Bombers, Stamps, Elks. That's a triple header on TSN on Saturday. The Edmonton Elks today assigned defensive lineman Jordan Williams. For just looking at some of these injury reports for this weekend, Drew Brown is out still. He was limited in practice the last few days for the Ottawa Redblacks. Tyson Philpott, Austin Mack as receivers. They've been full participants in practice, so it's looking like they'll be able to get back, as is Marc-Antoine Duquois, defensive back for the Alouettes. Davis Alexander limited in practice. So was Tyler Snead, so it's looking like maybe those two guys won't be there. If anyone else really standing out on depth chart, Dalton Schoen with a knee injury did not practice, so it's maybe looking like he won't be there for the Bombers. Bain Jr., he was practicing for it doesn't look like there's much. Lacombo is the one that maybe won't be there for the Riders. And when you look at the Stamps and the Elks getting a little decimated when it does come to their injury report. Nick Anderson, who was practicing in advance of Labor Day, he was limited yesterday. They're practicing today, so we'll see what happens. Jared Brinkman, who was a game-time decision for Monday's game, ended up playing. He was limited. Jake Seresna, though, did not practice yesterday with a knee injury. Curly Gittens Jr., he was limited. And Niles Morgan, he did not practice. So if we're looking at this right now, my guess is Seresna Morgan probably maybe not going to be there on Saturday. Nick Anderson, question mark. Brinkman, I'm going to say the fact that he was a game-time decision, played that game on Monday, played the whole game. I would expect that maybe they're just, being a little cautious with him this week, and he'll be good to go for Saturday. And I think just the fact that Curly Gittens is on the field limited with leg cramps, I feel good that he might be there as well. But losing Seresna and losing Morgan, this is a tough loss. If Morgan's not there, you really then hope Nick Anderson is going to be good to go. And maybe that's why they're going limited with Nick Anderson themselves with that one because they know that they just got to be cautious with him because they're going to need him on Saturday because if Niles Morgan can't go, huge loss there. The way DeBlanco's been playing, awesome. You could slide him over to the middle linebacker spot. He could then go replace Niles Morgan while Nick Anderson takes back his spot next to what would then be DeBlanco. So that's a little bit of the injury report. We'll get to that with Huss as well. And then I don't know if we'll have full time for it, but we do got World Cup qualifying that's going on. South America today has a bunch of games. Paraguay, Ecuador is a close one. And then for Canada, for anyone that's interested in the Canadian men's national team that's in their preparation to get ready for next year's World Cup, there's going to be a lot more friendlies that you're going to hear about. You're going to hear a lot about them. They're right now in Romania. I just want to find these on Play Alberta. First international matches. Here we go. Canada, Romania tomorrow. Canada's announced quite a few matches coming up as well. The Canadian men's national team, I'm just going to quickly see if I can find their schedules here of upcoming fixtures because they've really set themselves up for 2025. Romania tomorrow out in Romania. Then they head to Wales on the 9th. When's the 9th? That's Tuesday? Yeah, next Tuesday. So Romania tomorrow, Wales next Tuesday. Then they come to Montreal on October 10th to host Australia. Then they had a weird one to the United States on the 14th to play Colombia. And then they announced Ecuador and Toronto on November 13th. So getting a couple of UEFA clubs in there, getting Australia in there, and then getting some South American clubs in there. So their preparation's going very well. They also have a friendly announced for, it seems like Montreal early next year. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, not coming out west. I wouldn't expect them to come into Edmonton for quite a while, but it probably would have been nice if they could have went to Vancouver. But Vancouver is going to get a few matches in what will be the World Cup. But that's the other football that we've got a while away to worry about. We got Canadian Football League, Week 14. We got Thursday Night Football. Let's get into all of that. Let's bring in Huss on to the Lock Shop. Huss, how are we doing today? You excited for some National Football League regular season action?
I'm so excited. I'm wearing my Canada soccer hoodie today. I figured it was red. Red is the theme going into the Chiefs opener tomorrow. I'll have my Kingdom hoodie on tomorrow. But did I just hear you rolling out the schedule for Canada? We're playing Romania today?
Tomorrow. They'll take on Romania. I think it's 11 Eastern, which would be 10 your time, 9. And that game you can watch on TSN and One Soccer, but it is on TSN. But yeah, they play where in Romania.
Ooh.
So they're in Romania tomorrow, and then they're in Wales next Tuesday, Swansea, to take on Wales. So a couple big, actually a nice schedule the rest of the way when it comes to their friendlies for 2025.
So are these guys not all in their regular premiership clubs right now?
Well, so what happens with FIFA is they take international breaks. So all those clubs or all those leagues are on break.
This is the break?
Yeah, we're in an international break. Pardon?
Haven't they had one game?
Italy's had 2. Everyone else has had 3, I think it is. Yeah, no, but they're designed windows. So you have this actually. It used to be going into Labor Day weekend. I always thought was the window. Maybe I always thought that was when it was. So maybe that got pushed back. But there's the September window. There's an October window. There's a November window. There's I think there's a January, February. There has been, but that one's more gone. It's March is the other big window. But yeah, no, it's such a cool thing that they just step away. And the players that are in international duty, they head off to their respective nations. Anyone that's not, they train, they stick around their club, and I guess some of them get a little bit of time off. But yeah, their leagues have started, but no, they're already on the international window, and all these players go off to their respective countries and their respective cities.
I always knew that was the way it worked. I didn't know when the windows were. And I will just say, it just seems so weird. It's imagine dropping the puck on the hockey season on October 8th. And then October 25th, all right, everyone goes their separate ways and does other things for.
We're going to take a week off. We're going to take a week off because we got some qualifying for the Olympics that we got to get to. And Canada's going to take on some friendlies.
I would love hockey to get to a point. The problem is we're going to an 84-game schedule.
I know.
So, the NHL running everything is never going to scale back to get us more international. I'm not going to complain, though. We got the Four Nations last year. We're getting the Olympics this season, so we will take it. Just quickly on that, I mean, I guess Romania is the home team. They look like about a slight favorite. How do you feel about Canada's chances? I mean, can we win? Is it a draw? I guess we don't really know entirely. Do we know what the lineup is?
Yeah, they announced the teams. Like Alphonso Davies isn't there. Who else is? Kyle Larin won't be there. But you've got a lot of the other guys. Like these are important matches. I don't know much about Romania. They are ranked 48th in the world. Canada is ranked at its highest, 28th right now or something like that. So, yeah, we should be the favorites, but we're on the road. We're, hostile territory. And unfortunately for Canada, partly because of our location, but, money perspective for this, we're not going to bring other nations to Canada. For as much as, we generally will go on the road a lot more for these friendlies. Like last year before Copa America, we went to France, we went to the Netherlands to take them on. It should be a close game. But it's also like, okay, well, what is Jesse Marsh's goal out of this? Is it to constantly go with his starting 11? Is it to get his formation, and stick with that throughout all these friendlies so it's good to go for the World Cup? Or is he going to experiment with different things, try some different things? So it's not as fully always about the result. It's about what is Jesse Marsh trying to accomplish with these. And, we got smoked against Netherlands before that Copa America, but then we drew with France the next one. Big change from one to another. And it gave us a lot of hope going in Copa America. So, yeah, I guess Canada should, they should win if you go strictly based on who's the better side. But being on the road, that's always difficult, especially in soccer. So, if I'm looking at bets like Jonathan David scoring in his first appearance for Juventus in Italy a couple weeks ago. Tejan Buchanan, he had a hat trick a couple of weeks ago. But like a Jonathan David plus 195 for an anytime goal. That's always a nice bet right now when it comes to Canada.
What about, I'm seeing, what do you have for the three-way, the Romania draw in Canada?
Plus 128 for Romania, plus 226 for a draw, plus 182 for Canada.
I'm obviously not betting Romania. What's more likely, a draw or a Canada win? Draw on the road?
Yeah, you're on the road, a draw. Just because, you could see, I could see, if there's one concern that you always are going to have with Canada, we're going to have this concern going into the World Cup. It is the defense of this team. We can go score goals, but we could also give up some goals. Our back line isn't exactly the strongest. And it also depends what goalie they're going with. It does seem like, through the Gold Cup, they went a lot with St. Clair. He maybe isn't the best choice. Crépeau might be the guy that you want to go with, although Crépeau with his MLS club in Portland, he's not starting. He hasn't been playing regular soccer as a while, and you kind of want your guys playing regular soccer throughout the year. So it also kind of depends on the goalie. If it's St. Clair, I could see him giving up a couple of goals in this one. So I would feel like the draw a little bit more if, draw or Canada's minus 204. So maybe not the best one. Canada, if you do draw no bet, Canada plus 102, that's the way to maybe go. If it ends in a draw, great. But if Canada wins, you still get plus money.
Whatever happened to Sweatpants? Where's our buddy Borjan these days? Is he retired?
It was time to move on. So they moved on. I don't know if because he was still then going play back. I think he was in Serbia.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And let's see if he's listed. Oh, he's playing in Saudi Arabia since 2024 in Riyadh. Who's on his club out there? Do I know anyone on this club? Nope. So he's playing in Saudi Arabia. Making a little bit of cash out there. So, yeah, that's where he's... Well, our goalie's actually... There's a third goalie. I forgot his name. That's in contention, too. They're good. St. Clair's actually a pretty solid goalie to the most part. It just seems with the national team, Crépeau, he steps up. And, he's also someone I trust when it comes to penalty kicks. I
was just about to bring that up. I'm still pissed off about the Guatemala game. Is that who we lost to? Was it Guatemala or was it...
Yeah, Guatemala. And it's just, I have full confidence in Maxime Crépeau going into a penalty kicks than I do St. Clair. So that's just, But that's the stuff that Jesse Marsh has to sort out. And that's what he's going to have to go through. But I think like over the next 2 matches, if you're seeing like a similar 11 tomorrow and next Tuesday, I think we kind of know where Jesse Marsh is heading towards for next summer. Tomorrow, again, I'll actually just quickly look this up if I could find it on the fly here for when that game gets going. And again, it will be on TSN, so something that can be watched here in Canada a lot easier than subscribing to One Soccer. One Soccer, credit to them. They've done a great job of, bringing soccer coverage to the country, but it's just when it's not as accessible or, people aren't just paying for it. It's going to be not something that everyone's just going to flock completely towards. Why can't I find friendlies?
How long is that deal? Do you know?
Which one?
The One Soccer owning.
Oh, I think there's like Canada Soccer with that. Or it's a long deal. The Canadian Premier League, like their ownership, and this is like what led to the players having the issue with Canada Soccer was that there was a deal signed with them that it goes for a very long, I think it was 10 years or something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Not great.
Because we need and it's been interesting following, TSN's, I guess, been getting some of the games and they've got the World Cup. So they're starting to put some more assets. If you're ever flicking around, I can't remember what the show is called, Park the Bus or something like that. And it's like Shinetti along with a couple of the English guys that, that do the commentary, that follow the team. And it's neat. I mean, they're just sort of following, hey, where are we at with the starting lineup and, how all their players are. I mean, it for people like me that, maybe don't naturally get that information immediately in my feed and followers. It's been good. But, I just wonder what a larger presence on the national networks for the national team regularly would do for the notoriety of the players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the general knowledge of Canadians about the Canadian team. And that has been missing. So I don't know. I mean, I get why, in a world where we're going increasingly to streaming and MLS is tied up with Apple TV. We don't see any of those games anymore. They've sort of put themselves into a spot where the hardos will see it, but there's no casuals that are catching any of this stuff. And that's a very tough way to build a fan base and grow a fan base of people that are actually avidly in when it's not really there or accessible. So I'm really hoping as we get closer to the World Cup, there'll be more on the Canadian team because as you and I both know, we've got some incredible young talent on this team. It's the most exciting time in the history of the Canadian men's national program. And it is sort of just outside of the realm of consciousness of, I would say, the majority of Canadian sports fans.
Yeah, I'll go back to, and I was annoyed with TSN for this back when I worked at 1260. But I was following along from the very beginning of the Canadian qualifying for the 22 World Cup. And they got into the hex, the big final grouping. And it was one of those, KTSN, you're broadcasting the World Cup. You should just jump in on this. Because even if Canada doesn't qualify, you're leading up, you're trying to promote the World Cup. But if Canada's there, you should be from the start. And the fact that they didn't get, I think they got one game, but Sportsnet made the deal with One Soccer and Sportsnet ran all the games. It's what are you doing, TSN? This is, you have the World Cup. Why aren't you making this deal with One Soccer and Canada Soccer to broadcast the World Cup qualifying? Why am I watching this on Sportsnet when you own the World Cup rights? And for this, and that's why I'm very glad for this one. Is whoever made the decision finally got their head out of the what, because they're maybe we should show the Canadian men's national team the year before the World Cup and in the lead up to the World Cup to get people excited about a product we're showing on our own TV. So on our own channel. So it's about time that's happening. And I'm glad that tomorrow's match, it says noon on TSN. I don't know if that's Eastern time.
I think that's your time because I'm just pulling it up. It says 1 o'clock here.
Kate, and there you go. So 1 o'clock your time, noon here tomorrow. So while you're doing WST, you could have that on the side or something.
Absolutely. We'll be staying on top of it.
Okay. So tomorrow, Dusty's back. He and you will do full NFL tomorrow. Full best bets for tomorrow. So today, we'll look at Thursday Night Football, but we'll also look at the whole Week 14 slate of the CFL. But let's start with Thursday Night Football because that one is happening tonight. Eagles minus 8.5 in this one. They're raising the banner. Players aren't coming out for it, though, but the crowd's going to celebrate their second banner in just a few years. Do the Eagles have it to cover the 8.5 against this Cowboys team?
That is a big number. I know everyone's all freaked out about Micah Parsons being traded. I got to tell you that in this particular game, I think that there's a massive nobody believes in us factor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think the Parsons trade has moved this line a couple points. And to be honest, I'll make the case that it shouldn't. Now, over the course of the season, will the Dallas defense be as good without Micah Parsons? Probably not. But here's the thing. The guy that they got back from Green Bay, I wanted to call him Kenny Mayne. It's not Kenny Mayne.
Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark, excuse me. Kenny Mayne as a defensive run stopper, probably not that effective.
Give me the 8.5 for the Eagles at that point.
You know, and this is one of the things that Jerry said when they made the deal. And I get it. People were pissed off that they traded Parsons and they didn't really want to hear it. But they do believe that Kenny Clark comes in. You know, right now, like, is he long-term guy? Well, when he's 30 years old. But right now, he significantly improves the Cowboys' run defense. What do you need to do to hang with the Philadelphia Eagles? Not get run all over by Saquon Barkley first and, to an extent, Jalen Hurts. Now, Hurts might have a little bit more time to throw the football, but, and listen, I got a lot of respect for Hurts. He's unbelievable. He's he's the most consistent fantasy football player, period. But I kind of do think that this might allow the Cowboys to keep this more of a closer game. I'm very high on the Cowboy offense. Now, I don't really know what they're going to get out of the running game. But as we've been spending the last 2 weeks doing fantasy football drafts, like, to me, the Parsons news almost increases Dak and CeeDee Lamb's fantasy viability just because of how many points you would expect they're going to need to score. But I keep going back to the addition of Clark because I think it's going to shore up the Cowboys' defense against the run, which might be more important in this game or their 2 games against Philly than any other game all season long. So we'll see. The Eagles' defense is really good, but, I mean, this is a divisional game. There's going to be a lot going on around for the Eagles. I'm going to take Dallas and plus 8.5. I mean, I do think that Dak, and hey, listen, even if it's out of control in the second half, that's such a big number that you could easily have the Cowboys slide in the back door in the last 5 minutes on a point, on a touchdown or something that doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, I think right off the bat, I mean, hey, listen, and I always say this, week 1, take it easy because I know we're all excited to hammer the board, but man, is week 1 been a graveyard over the years. And I'm just hoping to start 1-0 tonight with the Cowboys plus 8.5. What about you?
Yeah, it's
roll them.
Well, you make all the right points there. One is, like you and I were talking about on Tuesday, and you brought up the idea of Dak maybe being leader in the league in passing yards because of that receiving core that they have. And look, the Eagles have a great receiving core themselves, but like I feel like the Cowboys are going to find a way to score some points. I feel like the Cowboys are going to find their way to move the ball. This is also just an NFC East matchup. Like, straight up, this is a rival. We talked about going into Labor Day, the rivalries, Bombers, Riders, Elks, Stamps, Battle of Ontario, Argos, Ticats. This isn't just some game for the Eagles. This isn't just some team that they're playing. This is an NFC East rivalry. And, for the Cowboys, you would have to think in that locker room, they know that it sucks to not have Micah Parsons on their team anymore. But how the world is just discrediting them right now, how the world is just throwing them away, that almost plays into who you like for the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles did sweep the series last year, and it was dominating. But before that, it's either been a split between these two or the Cowboys have found a way to get the win. The home team generally hasn't found a way to win. So, like, I'm not going to sit here making a case for the Cowboys winning this football game. That's just not... I still think the Eagles, like, they're the best team in the NFC. They're a young football team that kept its pieces from last year. This is a good team for the NFC East or the NFC just in general for a while, it seems. But, you know, you do sometimes see that slow start to the season, a little bit of that hangover to start, if you will. But when you get these rivalry games, the other team does like to show up and try to spoil the party. That I don't even know if it comes down to the backdoor cover. I don't know if it comes down to late scores to get the Cowboys back into this one. I think the Cowboys just show up and make this one, you know, like we're talking about over a touchdown here. I think the Cowboys could keep this within a touchdown. So I do like the Cowboys, you know, plus 8.5. I'm taking the Eagles to win this. But I do think the Cowboys find a way to keep it within 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Eagles could absolutely win this game by double digits, but I think it's kind of foolish to, before they've even taken a snap, completely write Dallas off. And Dallas is listen, they've got, I think, the third longest championship streak in the NFL. But you look at over these last 10 years, I mean, they're like 6th or 7th in wins. I mean, they have been consistently pretty competitive. I mean, last year, their season went completely down the drain when Dak got hurt. So, I mean, Dak's going to come out. He's going to be ready to sling it. I mean, as I said, we haven't kicked off yet. If you want to ride with the Dak Prescott 12-1 future bet to lead the league in passing, I'm already on it right now. But, yeah, for tonight's game, and here's the other thing. It's the NFL. We all like to see the script before it happens. I don't think the script is for a 30-3 blowout on opening night where people are turning the TVs off in the second quarter. So yeah, let's ride with the Cowboys. Let's get into a few player props right now. What are we seeing for what do we got for rushing yards for Mr. Barkley?
Well, I'll get there right away. Just quickly, 7 of the last 10 NFL opening games they've been 7 or less. 7 of the last 10. There have been 3 blowouts to a degree. The Chiefs beat the Patriots 42-27 and 17. The Chiefs beat the Texans 34-20. Not really a sexy matchup though. And then the Bills beat the Rams 31-10. But beyond that, they've been tighter games. When it comes to the player props for today's game, Saquon Barkley, they've got him 93.5 yards over under.
Sounds about right.
We had a guest on the Reed Wilkins Show, myself and Jay. Can't remember which one it was. I think it was Michael Fabiano of SI. He used to be with Sports the NFL Network and stuff. He's not betting on the Saquon Barkley being the same as last year. He pulled out these crazy numbers about running backs that do this the next year have a bit of a fall. I'm going. I do feel like, how often do we generally see that running back be able to duplicate it back-to-back years? And Barkley has had his injury concern. I'm not so sure he's going to have such like that straight. As a Ravens fan, I remember Jamal Lewis when his chase for 2,000, he fell off the cliff after that one. I'm not going to say Barkley's going to fall off the cliff completely. I could see him coming in under 93.5 yards for today's game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just buying into the side of the trade that no one's talking about. But as I say, I'm optimistic that this is going to make them, able to keep Saquon at least a little more in check. No one was able to do that last year. So yeah, I mean, I think, given that opportunity of 93 or 94, 100 yards is a lot. And that he's going to be the number one thing that they're talking about all weekend long is, stopping the run. I mean, it'll be a focus right out of the gate. Can they do it? I guess we'll see. It's not going to be a big play, but I think if I had to lean one of the other sides, I mean, if you did want to, there's a combined number I'm seeing at 111.5 because I do think Saquon's going to get his at some point. But I think that if we're speaking about the rushing total in particular, I think it'll be such a focus of Dallas that they may have to, establish the pass a little bit more and then get Barkley in, on some screen passes, which obviously don't contribute to the rushing total. So, as I say, I mean, we're gonna learn a lot about all these teams in the first couple of weeks. The receiving yards, though, I think is where it's going to be fun tonight on both sides of it. I'm seeing CD 72.5. Is that where you got?
71.5. AJ Brown 68.5. George Pickens 54.5. Devonta Smith 54.5. I also just want to throw this one out there. John Mechie the third is 1.5. So if you think the Canadian who's recently got traded to the Eagles could get over 1.5 yards, so that's basically a catch for 2 yards or more. It's minus 118 on that one if you want to go off that way. Dusty does have some thrown up there that I should quickly get to as well. He's built a few parlays in relation to this game. He's got a Barkley anytime touchdown and Dak Prescott interception. That is plus 152. Devonta Smith, longest reception being 23 yards. That's plus 102. He also has a CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown. That's plus 151. It was minus 141 or so for a Dak Prescott's over two or more touchdowns thrown in this one. That's the thing that I like. I don't think the Cowboys are rushing this football into the end zone tonight. If they're scoring touchdowns, it's going to be a passing attack. So I do like the look of getting Dak Prescott 2+ TDs. If anyone thinks it's a high scoring game, I would take Dak almost and then score 3 touchdowns. So through the air, because they don't have much of a running attack right now, or it's expected.
I'm it's funny. Like, what are the rush yards even for
the rush yards?
Javonte Williams
34.5. Like they have Jalen Hurts is over under rushing yards 40.5. The quarterback for the Eagles is being over under is higher than the lead running back for the Dallas Cowboys going into this one. That would be the one cause, real cause for concern, that you're the Cowboys. You can't be a one facet unit or offense, because then you will get beat. If the teams know that they only have to worry about the passing attack, they'll find a way to shut it down. So they're going to have to make sure they find a way to, build that up this year. Brian Schottenheimer and that offense are going to have to find a way to get Javonte Williams or whatever it is, get some sort of running game going, because that would be the one thing that will hurt Dak Prescott in the passing game, is if everyone knows that they're just going to be passing the football.
I tend to agree. Although I will say this, Javonte Williams might end up being an incredible value play for fantasy. And even, you're talking about 35 yards, 34 yards for a starting running back in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a defense is going to probably be expecting pass more often than not.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to
one big run for 20 yards, and all of a sudden you're in a good spot for the rest of the game.
Cool. Yeah, and then you go, 3 yards in a cloud of dust 7 times, on downs like that throughout, and make it happen. Well, I'm very interested to see what happens with the Cowboys backfield. That was one of those areas that, we, especially going through fantasy draft season, no one was really on, because you really don't know who's going to be getting the ball and whether they'll have a rookie in there in 3 weeks. But as far as for tonight goes, that is the lowest. That's probably the lowest number that we will see for an over-under for a starting running back in the NFL. Certainly in week 1, and I'd be surprised if there's many games all season long where there's a running back. The top option on a team for rush yards is 35 yards or less. So tonight, it is Cowboys. It is Eagles. Any other thing that you're looking at before we shift to the Canadian Football League? I'm just going to put something together. I think I'm going to go a 3-legger, same gamer. Dallas plus 8.5. We'll go the under on Saquon rushing at 94.5. We'll go over on CD at, I think it was 72.5 or whatever that number was. So yeah, it'll be great. And then as far as touchdowns, like we got to look at who's getting the first touchdown of the year, Matt. Touchdown score. We should definitely get in on that. Who will be the first touchdown of the entire season?
Well, the big ones, I don't mind the Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown.
I was looking at it right now. You gotta love that. Would be a heck of a way to start the season.
I could see them being close, him scrambling out of the pocket, rushing in like an 8-9 yard touchdown. There's your first touchdown of the NFL season.
Let's do it. I'm in on it. Jalen Hurts for the first touchdown of the season. Have you any other NFL takes that you've been kind of as we get closer to the season? Anything that's changed in the last couple days? I'll tell you what. One thing on my end, I haven't really known what to think of the Niners throughout the preseason. Just with Jawan Jennings is hurt, Iwanyk is out. Ricky Pearson is going to be the number one guy. Kind of funny, the minute they get to game week, all of a sudden Jennings is able to practice again. That was basically a hold in, I think. Wasn't getting fined, said he wasn't able to go. Now he's going to be there. So Jennings, I think, is live now from a fantasy perspective. I think that might take a bit of a ding off Pearsall. But the point is that Brock Purdy's going to have a few more weapons to be able to utilize. I mean, McCaffrey's apparently healthy. I think George Kittle is going to be real big. So I'm a little higher now on San Francisco than I was, just at least for them being out of the gate, because I thought that, okay, it's great that McCaffrey's back, but what about the rest of the team? Obviously, they got to have Trent Williams on that line too.
Well, and I'll always still just be question marks on Christian McCaffrey because, the guy is a little bit older. But it's also like, he could be healthy now, but how long is that going to last? Last year, he had 4 games. The year prior was healthy, played 16 games. But before that, 10 games, 6 games, 16, 7, 3. It seems like he could only get healthy once every 3 or 4 years or something. So it's, what happens with this team? Can they still survive if Christian McCaffrey goes down? And are they is that why Brian Robinson has been his trade, is that they have now a little bit better insurance should something happen to Christian McCaffrey? As for the I don't generally have a lot of big takes because I feel like in the first 2 weeks a lot of things kind of get thrown out. I'm still very concerned about my Ravens start of the season. I'm very concerned about the schedule that they have. I would love them going into the bye week in week 7 for them, if they could be a 3-3 football club because of just the stretch that they have. And if they're 3-3 or better, awesome. Then they're set up nicely for the rest of the season. But I could see them getting right behind that 8 ball early just with some of the big teams that they are playing. I guess the only thing is Aaron Rodgers. I know from the last few years, he's not Aaron Rodgers anymore. He's not that guy. But there's a part of me that keeps going, but is this maybe like the last year where he comes out and it's like Bo Levi Mitchell, thought it was done in Calgary, goes to Hamilton. Even in the first year, Hamilton, not the great. And then last year, lights it up. This year is lighting it up with the Hamilton Tiger Cast degree offensively. So are we going to get that little bounce back up for Aaron Rodgers with him being in Pittsburgh? That's the one big question mark I still have and that I want answered with him going to New York to take on the Jets on Sunday to a little bit. But I also feel like he lost some of that arm strength. You're not getting that back. Like you father time, undefeated. But Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, it's just the first 4 weeks are going to really tell a lot of who he is, and will he be able to keep Mike Tomlin's streak alive of 500 or better football, or is he going to be the reason Mike Tomlin's going to be, for the first time in his NFL career, below 500?
Okay, I'm gonna make a case for Aaron right now. Aaron didn't look great at the start of the year, and that was very important. All those games count. But man, he was coming off that Achilles injury. Like by the end of the season, the last 6 games, he was actually like he was pretty good. Like, let me ask you this. Who do you think had more touchdown passes last year? Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels.
Well, I'm guessing it's Aaron Rodgers based off this question.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers was 28 touchdowns, 11 picks last year on the freaking Jets. Now, listen, Josh Allen and Mahomes and Love and Daniels are all doing more, running wise. But, I mean, Rodgers, I'm just going with TD interception splits. Aaron was 28 and 11. Josh Allen was 28 and 6. Mahomes was 26 and 11. Jordan Love was 25 and 11. And Jaden Daniels was 25 and 9. Like, people are thinking about Aaron Rodgers being like in and around like Russell Wilson and, Derek Carr, Drake May. I mean, he's a top 10 QB in metrics right now. And now I guess we can argue, okay, back then he had Garrett Wilson, who's like, to me, a top 10 receiver with a good quarterback. Not sure what he'll do this year with Justin Fields. But I think Rodgers will be in a far better position to succeed early in the season than he was last year at the Jets, just health-wise, but also being on a team that is not going to lean on him to do everything. I mean, they will try and establish the run with Jaden Warren. They've got a better offensive line. They've got a great defense. So I am with you as well. I am buying Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, and I do think this is probably going to be his last year, but this is a guy with a huge ego, a lot to prove, and he does not want to go out looking like a chump in this year. And I think that's why everything has been so quiet out of Pittsburgh. Like, remember the Jets training camp the last 2 seasons? Every day he's saying something. He's going on a podcast. This year's nothing. It's Mike Tomlin. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to work. We're getting ready for the Jets in week 1. And as far as this week goes, and I mean, I know Dusty and I will make picks tomorrow, but the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Jets in week 1, I mean, this is an FU game for the ages for both quarterbacks.
Well, I was about to say, Justin Fields. Justin
but
Fields.
I got a lot more confidence in Rodgers than I do in Fields in a scenario like this.
Justin Fields, and this is such a weird stat I saw because like how often does this happen, but he could be the first QB to win an opening day game for one team and then win an opening day game the next year against that club, his former club the next year. So like there is that on Justin Fields. The one thing I will go against Aaron Rodgers' TDs for last year, 7 of them came in 2 games at the end of the season to Miami and Jacksonville.
Yeah, well, I mean,
last game of the season, 4 against Miami.
Hey, didn't they need that to make the playoffs? I mean, that wasn't a nothing game.
They were 5-12 last year.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Jets.
thinking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no.
But Miami did. Like
Aaron. Oh, them. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers, like the Dolphins.
He was way better at the end of the season. I guess that is part of my point. Now,
yeah, I get that.
Last week, I mean, he got better throughout the year. He looked way more like the old Aaron Rodgers in the last 6 weeks of the season. So if you will give him the health that he looked better when healthy, he's got the offseason. He's in a full training camp or most of it with this new team. And here's the thing. Pittsburgh has been winning. Like, think about who they've been winning with over the last few years. Fields, Mason Rudolph. I mean, guys that, frankly, are probably not starting level QBs. Sorry, Jets fans. I mean, I think you would have loved to have had another option other than Fields, but maybe it's the long play right now. Pittsburgh finds ways to win these games with far lesser quarterback play than what I think they should get from Aaron Rodgers. And to me, on Pittsburgh, just as a team, you had Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they've got arguably top 3 secondary in the league. TJ Watt is healthy, getting after the quarterback. like that defense alone is going to be a real handful for teams like the Jets. So I like a nice start for Aaron Rodgers and a nice start for the Steelers in this particular game. And I do think it'll be a long season for the Jets and for Garrett Wilson owners. And I'm not really that high on Breece Hall. The one guy, if we're talking about the Jets, that I am really high on, not necessarily in week 1, but by week 5 or 6, is Braylon Allen. Like, I think we're going to see Allen work far more into the offense than probably you might have think, just with where guys were ranked going into this season.
Mm-hmm.
He was the youngest player in the NFL when he came in a couple years ago. He was like 19. I think he's 21 right now. He's ready to make a much bigger impact. He's a very different player than Breece Hall. And the thing is, Fields has such a great mobility and running ability that he can actually, in my opinion, do a lot of the things that you might normally have Breece Hall do. Allen is the tank. So don't be surprised if we see, like that, just from a fantasy perspective quickly, if you're thinking about where things like coming out of week 1, look at snap share, look at touches, like try and see the way these coaches are handling their backfields early in the year. Because I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a couple guys that were listed as 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. But by the time we look at, they played 65% of the snaps. They were 2 touches short of the quote unquote starter. So this is a big weekend to find out a lot of those little intricacies about teams and how they're doing. And then obviously teams' ability to block for these guys will be another one we'll have to dig a little bit more in. But I can't wait. This is a fun game tonight to get things going. And then, of course, tomorrow, Chiefs-Chargers down in Brazil. By the way, did you hear Kelsey and Mahomes did a quick little presser? I don't know where before they left or when they I guess they got there. And Mahomes, whatever, just talks for like 25 seconds. Then they asked Travis a question, and he answered the entire question in Mahomes' voice. It was
I didn't see that.
Those guys have a lot of fun together, man. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Okay, we've got about 5 minutes or so here. Let's go through the CFL Week 14 here. BC Lions -6.5 against Ottawa. No Drew Brown once again for the Redblacks. The Lions coming off a loss before the bye week to Toronto, where Arbuckle lit them up in that Argos offense. But last weekend with Winnipeg and Edmonton losing, they got the results that they needed for at least out west. Do you give Ottawa a chance in this one to go cover a big line of 6.5?
I mean, not really, to be honest. Well, listen, I shouldn't say that. I give them a chance to cover. I mean, this could be a closer game. Ottawa's been better at home. I mean, I still have major questions about the BC defense, quite obviously. I think BC wins this game. Now that the spread's gone all the way up to 6.5, I think this is maybe a no bet for me as far as on the spread. I don't have a lot of faith in Ottawa and Dustin Crum. But, man, Nathan Rourke's been playing at a high level. It's just a big number for a team to cover on the road. If I had to choose between the two, I guess I'd take BC. Like, for our picks, I think I'll throw in a BC. But I don't think I like that enough to actually put hard-earned Canadian currency on it.
Well, and then the reason for that I'm with you, like where it's very hard to actually put money on this in one way at 6.5 is Ottawa's very good at the comebacks. They did it against Winnipeg. They came back against Edmonton. They won the game, but they came back against Toronto. That this is a team that Ottawa could be up, or BC could be up by 14, but Ottawa's going to find that touchdown with a 2-point conversion to make this a 6 or whatever like that, and then they're going to find that cover or something like that. So that's what's difficult with the Redblacks this season is I don't see them winning this football game, but at 6.5, it's a big number there that I could absolutely see them still covering it. So when it comes to our picks, and I'll get to that and send those out today for all of us, I'm gonna struggle a little bit with that one. When it was 4.5 earlier this week, I did like that one for the BC Lions, but I could see the Redblacks keeping it, within, at that touchdown point, 5-6 points with a late TD. Hamilton's -3.5. This line has moved just slightly from earlier this week. Montreal +3.5. Based off the injury reports, Davis Alexander has been limited, so it's not looking like he's going to be ready to go. But they are going to get Marc-Antoine Duquois back in the secondary. It looks like they're going to get Philpott and Mack back because all three of those guys have been full participants. So they are getting a little bit healthier in other areas. But is that going to be enough with Morgan at quarterback against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who are reeling right now?
Morgan's been okay. I mean, for a guy that was a fourth stringer to come in, I mean, he hasn't embarrassed himself or anything like that, I didn't think. Listen, Hamilton is going to be in a snarly mood after, what's transpired over the last month, and especially the way that they lost that Labor Day game. But let's not overlook the fact that they played on Monday. This is a very quick turnaround. To be getting right back at it early on Saturday. And the Montreal Alouettes are coming off the bye. I think this is why we've seen, I originally saw it at 4 or 4.5, and now we're seeing 3.5 or even 3s out there. The fact, if Davis Alexander is in this game, I think we're talking about a pick'em, or maybe Montreal is a slight favorite. I'll go with Bo Levi Mitchell and Kenny Lawler and the Ticats to get it done and cover the number. But this is it's a really, really tough one to lay these sort of points on the road, divisional game, short week. There's a lot of red flags on this one. I'm still riding with Bo Levi Mitchell, though. Yeah,
if Julian Grant catches that football, it's a 5-game losing streak or whatever it is for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They're going to go get their wins. If Davis, I'm just very high on the Owls, that if Davis Alexander's there, I think this is an easy, it's not even points. I'm just taking the Owls money line to go win this football game. But it doesn't look like he's there. And you're right, Morgan has been pretty decent. 198 touchdown, 2 interceptions against Winnipeg, 211, 1 touchdown, 1 interception against BC. So it's respectable. Look, you're getting weapons like Mac or Philpott back, possibly. You're getting those guys. That does help you. But I think just with the way the loss happened, even though it is that short week, Bo's perfect record on Labor Day goes away. That I think that he's going to step up and they'll find this one and they'll be able to cover the 3.5.
I'm changing my pick. I'm taking Montreal.
What's changed you?
Okay, 2 things. Well, everything that I just said, all those red flags that I was saying, the short week, all of that. But here's the other thing. The BC game, Morgan got thrown in there relatively early in the game, had probably had absolutely no reps in practice. He then played the game against the Bombers with a week to play, and I thought the Bomber defense was as good as it has been all season long, and the Bombers really started to run the football, and they handled the time of possession. They did a lot of things really well. But he didn't do anything to show that he didn't belong or anything like that. I think the additional preparation, another week of playing and getting those receivers back, I between the defense and the additional guys there, I think it's enough for them to keep this game close. If I had to say, listen, Hamilton is a money line favorite. Yeah, I'll take Hamilton. But if we're going to get more than 3 points, I'm officially changing my pick to Montreal plus 3.5.
Perfect. And okay, in a minute, we'll quickly crush these two here. Argo or Blue Bombers, Riders, it's a pick 'em. There's no point looking at the spread. So this is straight just money line. Stamps minus 6.5 against the Elks. Bombers get it done. Can the Elks cover?
I have a hard time picking the Elks just with how lopsided that last game was. And I think that Vernon Adams has a whole nother level offensively. I would love for it to be a close game. We'll all be paying attention to it on Saturday night. To me, Calgary just really showed. And here's the thing. I know it's tough to beat a team twice in a row. Well, they smacked the Bombers by 20 in back-to-back weeks as well. So I'm taking Calgary minus the 6. There's good arguments on both sides for Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. Do I think Saskatchewan's a better team than Winnipeg right now? Yes, I do. But I'm going to ride with the Bombers, the Banjo Bowl history, the home crowd. We don't know what's up with Dalton Schoen. That guy's got brutal injury luck. He got hurt on the 2-pointer. pick 2. But Ontario Wilson's back and has been practicing all week. So that's going to be nice to get him in. Bombers will be ready to go. The fans will be ready to go. Give me Winnipeg on a pick 'em in Calgary -6.
Huss, what's up on Winnipeg Sports Talk?
We got a fun show today. Doug Brown, who, of course, longtime CFLer and does color for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, is going to join us to he's had a lot of sharp criticism for the coaching staff and whatnot. We'll hear from Jason Hogan today, who's been getting a lot of heat. So we'll focus in on the Bombers. Ken Weave's been watching Jonathan Taves and the guys skate as we get ready for training camp. He'll jump on. And we've got Jen Jones, #1 national bestseller, Rockstar. The book just came out. It's #1 on the charts. She's going to pop by, tell us about the book. And obviously we'll dive into the lines for NFL kickoff tonight between the Cowboys and Eagles.
Enjoy that football game tonight. Enjoy WST. I'll talk with you next week. Dusty's back tomorrow.
Let's go Canada tomorrow afternoon against Romania.
Love it. Winnipeg Sports Talk, him and Huss and Remus coming up in just a few minutes. Winnipeg Sports Talk on YouTube. That is the Lock Shop up next. 2 guys in a goal. We got EST afternoons. We got the Reed Wilkins Show until 6. And then on our audio streams, Turf District at 6 o'clock tonight. Thanks for tuning in to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. 2 guys in a goalie in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.